Good morning. I just want to talk to you a little bit about my experience with my addiction, namely drugs and alcohol. It's easier now for me to talk about it because at one point in my life it was just very difficult. And I have to give thanks to a dear friend of mine who finally just brought it to my attention. At one point, I guess they were calling it abuse of alcohol, and I didn't even know the difference of abuse and alcoholism. I really thought they would be the same thing. What I understand is that you can abuse alcohol and become an alcoholic, but not always do people who abuse alcohol become alcoholics. Unfortunately, in my case, I did become an alcoholic. And a friend of mine who knew that I was using alcohol to mask a lot of pain and grew up in a home. I grew up in a home where I needed these things because the love and the attention that I deserved as a child did not come very easily to me. And so I finally realized that I was using alcohol to give myself that feeling of love. When I first started to drink alcohol, it wasn't very much. As a matter of fact, we probably did it at our school parties and whatever. And I thought it was no big deal. But then I realized that, now looking back on it, I realized that I drank because I needed to feel good about myself, because I did not feel good about myself. And drinking and being drunk allowed me not to feel, not to have any feelings, and didn't care what other people thought about me. So I would say I was probably about 16 or 17 at that time. It was kind of funny because I kind of like a cat, if you will, that is really quiet and docile, very sweet. I was fine, but at some point, if you provoked me or said something to me that was injurious to me, I like a cat. If somebody tried to pick it up, it would screech and scratch and whatever. I was kind of the same way, and I realized that it wasn't doing me any good to do that. So drinking alcohol to kind of keep me at an even keel really helped with that. I have the same story about what I did while I was drunk. The things that I did um, was hard because when you are no longer drunk, then you realize those things that I did while drinking definitely did not. Then you realize those things that I did while hard because when you are no longer drunk, then you realize those things that I did while drinking definitely did not were not things that I thought were good. But they were good. Kind of like the times where, you know, we all got together and did things that we thought were funny and everything, but alcohol masks all of that. And finally, at some point, I would say when I was probably about 21 and 22, I think I was then what I would consider a full-fledged alcoholic. And drank when I would drink a little bit and then wouldn't feel anything. And I realized, okay, something's not right here. So I drank more and experimented with other things that um, that I shouldn't have. But pretty soon, it didn't matter. It just didn't matter because it always made me feel nothing or feel no pain, or I felt that I was in control. And at that point, alcohol was in control of me. Like I said, a friend of mine, she finally brought it to my attention. And, you know, our first reaction is to always just say, you know what, you don't know what you're talking about. When in fact they did. I did everything to hide my alcohol. Because at first, I would be able to get up and go to work. There were times where I could function. There have been times where I went 3 or 4 days, and I thought this was miraculous. Like I could go 3 or 4 days without drinking any alcohol. So that cannot be considered somebody who is an alcoholic. My relationships were good. Well, I thought they were. My relationships I thought were good. I didn't have problems sleeping or anything. But what I also realized is many times after a hard day at work, I would come home and have a cocktail. And this would help me to make it through the night, relieve me, kind of calm me down. If I was anxious, I would, just have a little shot of whiskey. And that seemed to take the edge off of that feeling. But then it was getting to the point where I couldn't get up to go to work. I couldn't function the way that I knew I should have. I'm starting to miss work, not wanting to be part of my friends, kind of staying clear of them, not going to parties, and I was hiding the alcohol and the drugs at home to the point where I just kind of disassociated myself from the community. And it just got to the point where my friend had said, and you can't force somebody to stop drinking. You just can't. And it cannot be one of those things. And I knew it. They can't tell me what to do, and they don't know my life, and they don't know what's really going on. That's how I played this out in my head until finally an intervention was done. My friend led that intervention. A person who's doing that knows the truth. It's the just not revealing the truth or trying to, tomorrow I'll quit, tomorrow I'll stop. It's the just not know. A person who's doing that intervention was done. My friend led that intervention. A person who's doing that knows the truth. It's the just not revealing the truth or trying to, tomorrow I'll quit, tomorrow I'll stop. And tomorrow just never came, to the point where I'm so thankful that my friend finally brought it to my attention. I had talked with my doctor, talked with my clergy, and they just had a hard time. First of all, they hardly could believe that the person that I was had that problem. And it just did not, they couldn't help me. I could only help me. So finally, I got into a program, started going to an AA meeting, had a sponsor, somebody who could sponsor me, went through 12-step program. Which I still working on, even though it's been 20, 25 years since I've had any alcohol. Went through a program. My friend is still my friend. I lost a lot of friends because of all the things that happened while I was intoxicated or high. I lost a lot of friends. Didn't even realize that I was losing friends when it happened, but I did. And to this day, I sometimes there's those triggers, where you kind of think, I can just do one, but you can't. I can't, and I don't. And but sometimes it's hard to fight those feelings, and that's why I have a sponsor in my AA who I can call even after 20-some years. Something could happen that makes you think, oh my gosh, this is the end. I have to drink something. So if you are wondering if you have a friend who is abusing alcohol or is actually an alcoholic, don't be forceful, but be strong for them, be supportive of them, guide them, listen to them, but most of all, do not fall for anything that they tell you that you know is not true. They know it's not true, but that's their way of coping with society, is to try to just get rid of them and tell you things that you want to hear so that you'll just go away. And so to this day, like I said, it still can be a struggle, but I'm thankful. I'm married. I have family. I have a great job, and I just pray that something like that will not rear its ugly head in my life again. Thanks for listening. So I want to do a disclaimer. That story is absolutely false. That is not who I am, and that's not what I have done. This story was fiction. This story was told only for testing purposes.